Maya was an ordinary girl who lived in a small village nestled in the foothills of the mountains. She helped her parents work the fields during the day, and in the evenings she would play with the other children as the sun set behind the hills. One afternoon, as Maya was gathering firewood in the forest near the village, she heard a strange voice calling her name. She looked around, but saw no one. The voice called again, beckoning her deeper into the trees. Feeling curious, Maya followed the voice until she came upon a small clearing. There in the center stood an old woman dressed in robes that shimmered like the rainbow. "Do not be afraid, child," said the old woman. "I am the goddess of these lands, and I have chosen you for a great purpose." The goddess told Maya that dark times were coming, and the village would need a beacon of hope and light to guide them through. Maya had a pure heart and powerful spirit. It was her destiny to become the new goddess and protect the village. Before the feeble young girl could make sense of her surrounding, a bright light whose luminance was just like the sun shone on the head of the rainbow figure. This strange occurrence blinded her at the spot. All she heard was a whispering voice saying words of incantations into her ears. Before long, she passed out. Maya awoke in a world where horses flew in the sky, where human walked in the clouds, and where children flew with no wings. She was the only odd one out. As she looked at her surrounding, the familiar voice that whispered words of incantations into her ears welcomed the young girl and took her hands, saying, "Follow me." She walked Maya through the strange land, which she later revealed to be the land of the dead gods who served their village from the hands of strange wars and sicknesses. Moments after touring the land, they came to the forecourt of the great gods. Here they stood before a panel of advanced beings who merged a power from their arms into a single ball. This ball was meant to be passed on to the next living god, who would save his town from an impending doom. Maya, together with some other girls, were scanned with a supernatural tool that portrayed each other's life on Earth in a form of a movie. They all came out clean and worthy to possess the power of a god, but Maya's innocence and strong spirit to one day save her town from war and remain victorious surpassed everyone's. The ball of power which was merged by the spirit gods was given to Maya. She had to follow a simple task after swallowing the ball. Maya wasn't sure about this decision. She stood there confused and looking at the glowing ball in her palm. She wasn't willing to give up her life to be a god, but after thinking about the blood shed on her lands by very vigorous wars from the neighboring towns, she didn't think twice. She swallowed the ball in an instant and was told by the elders to follow a set of instructions once she teleports back to Earth. In an instant, every went blank. As she opened her eyes, she saw herself standing before the being shimmering like the rainbow gown. The old goddess led Maya to a secluded pond, fed by a glittering waterfall. "Bathe yourself in these blessed waters and emerge anew," she instructed. Maya disrobed and stepped into the cold, refreshing pool. As she rose up out of the water, she could feel energy coursing through her body. Her long black hair shone like obsidian, and her brown eyes glowed golden in the dappled sunlight. The old goddess placed her hands on Maya's head. "With my last breath, I grant you my powers." A rush of warmth flowed from the goddess's fingertips into Maya, filling her with ancient magic and wisdom. The old woman smiled and faded away like mist on the wind. Maya dressed herself and hurried back to the village. But as she emerged from the forest, everything seemed different. The air shimmered around her, and with each step, flowers bloomed in her footsteps. Villagers working in the fields stopped and stared in awe as Maya passed by, her raven hair floating behind her like a cape. News spread quickly of the strange magic surrounding Maya. By the time she reached her family's small hut, a crowd had gathered outside. Maya's parents knelt before her, tears of joy streaming down their faces. "You have been blessed by the goddess," her mother said. "Our prayers have been answered." Maya made her way to the chief's hut. The elderly leader was waiting for her, his eyes full of wonder. "Is it true, child? Were you summoned to the realm of the spirits?" he asked. Maya nodded, still unsure of how to explain her unbelievable experience. The chief called the village to gather. Once everyone had assembled, he raised his hands for silence. "Brothers and sisters," he announced, "Maya has returned from the land of the gods. She bears their power. She is the one prophesied to save our people." Over the following days and weeks, Maya's divine powers grew. She could make crops grow in abundance, heal the sick with a touch, and see into the future. On the night of the next full moon, the entire village gathered around a great bonfire to witness Maya's ascent to godhood. Drums pounded and flames crackled as Maya emerged from her hut. She seemed to glide through the air, dressed in robes of silk and jewels. Kneeling before the fire, Maya closed her eyes and began to chant in an ancient tongue passed down from the goddess who came before her. The flames surged higher, licking and dancing around Maya's serene form. Her chants grew louder until finally she rose up with arms outstretched to the heavens. A hushed awe fell over the crowd as Maya floated above the ground, surrounded by billowing flames and smoke. Her eyes shone like molten gold as she addressed the villagers. "I am your goddess now. Know that I will always protect you." A cheer erupted as people bowed down before their new deity. Soon, word of the powerful new goddess spread to neighboring lands. People journeyed from all around to seek Maya's blessings and guidance. The village swelled as more people came to settle near Maya's temple, eager to build a life under her divine protection. In the years that followed, the village prospered under Maya's benevolent guidance. With her powers over nature, she ensured bountiful harvests even in the harshest times. When disease threatened, Maya would heal all who fell ill. She could even manipulate the weather to stave off droughts or floods. The villagers worshipped Maya and built a temple in her honor. They brought offerings of flowers, food, and precious gems to adorn her altar. Wars raged in the outside world, but Maya's influence kept the village and its surroundings peaceful. Her very presence was said to turn away armies before they ever reached the village borders. Generations passed, and Maya remained to watch over the people. Her youth and beauty never faded with the centuries. She became a figure of legend, the goddess who rose from humble beginnings to become a beacon of light in a dark world. Young girls in the village were raised on stories of Maya and how she found divine purpose in her ordinary life. Though Maya's tale passed into myth, her legacy lived on as a source of hope and renewal for all who heard it. For in every young girl is the potential for greatness, waiting to be awakened.